another good performance in the league, good win, good to be going into the international break 3 from 3, very positive today. I mean, we scribed, I think, it would be a little bit frustrating because some of the goals we scored got disallowed, due to some technicalities. But I think, if you're Xabi Alonso, you're going into the dressing room and you're telling the players, we played well. We created chances, we scored a lot of good goals. And, next time we just have to be, dot the I's, cross the T's and all of that. Just make it a little bit more clean when scoring the goals next time. Because I think, we scored some really, really good goals. Trent played really well. Impressed with what I saw from him. Mbappé looked good. What I talked about in the last game against Oviedo, I saw a lot of it from Mbappé today. A lot of standing on the last man and making that run in behind with his pace, using his pace to his advantage. I saw a lot of that today, and I'm really, really happy that was the case because that's what I want to see more of Mbappe. I think the goals he scored last season were good goals, but they were not Mbappe goals. They were not goals where he's running in behind with his pace because Mbappe's best quality is his pace. His pace and his finishing, really, really good. So glad to see him scoring those type of goals, although they did get ruled out. I'm glad to see him scoring those type of goals. Trying to look good, you can still see he leads a little bit of, sharpness in the game, trying to get, but his passes were brilliant. I think his passes were good. Defensively, he looked a little bit solid. Pretty good performance from Trent today. Vinny was good. The goal Vinny scored, good goal, really good guy. I thought he should have passed, but, Vinny is Vinny. He's not going to pass. I think as Real Madrid fans, you just have to get used to Vinícius Júnior. I think you just gotta get used to the player. He's gonna be a frustrating player. He's going to try and get his goal no matter what. I think what we wanted to see in the Osasuna game, first game of the season, was him putting in effort. And I think we didn't see that, and there was a little bit of concern. But today, he put in a lot of effort, good goal, almost got an assist as well. But the goal got ruled out. So I think Vinícius, I don't want to spend too much time on him. I just want him to keep performing. If he's going to score goals and get assists and, be a frustrating player, I don't have a problem with that. You can't be a frustrating player and not perform on the field. So if he's going to get goals and assists, I'm not really concerned with that, and he's going to win games for us. Arda Güler, really good player. I mean, I said this last season. I probably didn't say it here, but I did say it last season in my private groups and friends I was talking with. Arda Güler is a good player. I was really surprised Ancelotti couldn't find a place for him in the team, seeing as how good he actually was. I think the only issue I have with him is he does look a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? He looks a little bit like he's trying too hard. I think maybe he's trying to impress Alonso. I don't think you need to do that. I think Alonso has already acknowledged how good Arda Güler is. I don't think Arda needs to go that extra mile to impress. I think he just needs to play his game normally. But, third game of the season, we haven't really gotten into the season that deep. So I think he's going to get better as the season goes by. I'm looking to see him by game 10, by game 10, I think we're going to see an improvement from players like Arda Güler, Mastantuano as well. Really liked what I saw from him today. I think he is only going to get better. That's the thing with Mastantuano. I think he's only going to get better because first game of the season, he looked a little bit shaky. Game against Oviedo, he looked a little bit shaky. And today, he looked way, way, way better than that last two games. So I think as the season goes by, Mastantuano is going to be he's going to be an important player for us. Carreras as well. I mean, I'm really impressed with the signings. I really am impressed with the signings. Carreras is really good. Houghton is really good. Mastantuano looks absolutely brilliant. Like, I'm really impressed. Not to say Madrid don't make good signings, but yeah, I'm really impressed with the signings so far. I think, if we can, once we start hitting form, I think these players are going to be really important for us going forward. And yeah, I think, good game. I would have liked if we scored a lot more goals, but we did score. We did score goals. They just got disallowed due to offsides and all of that. So as I was saying, start of the video, going into the next game where we have Champions League football. I think we have Champions League football right after the international break. So going into that, we need to just cross our T's, dot our I's, refine the goals, and make things look a little bit cleaner than we made them look today. But yeah, apart from that, I don't really have any qualms. Maybe Vinicius is the only qualm I kind of have. But again, as I said, I don't really want to talk about Vinicius because I think he is a frustrating player. I think he's gonna be a frustrating player. But if he can put in results, if he can get goals, if he can get assists, I don't think it's gonna be too much of a problem. I think defensively we looked okay. I mean, I didn't really notice any problems defensively. I think that's the only thing I would have an issue with going forward. Maybe the defense, because I don't think we really faced a team that has given us a lot of issues in terms of scoring goals. I think the goal they scored was a set piece. Can't really do much about a set piece. So yeah, defensively, I don't really have any qualms or any problems or any issues with the team. I think we might have to come up against an attacking side. We might have to come up against an attacking side for us to really judge and see if the defense is good. But yeah, good performance. Good, liked what I saw from Mbappé. That's one thing I really wanted to see in this game. Mbappé, standing on the last man, making that running behind, using his pace. That's one thing I really, really wanted to see. Because I think when we start getting that consistently from Mbappé, he's going to score a lot of goals. If the goals didn't get disallowed today, that's another 2 to his tally. Like, we're going to score a lot of goals once Mbappé starts to get that timing of his run well, with players like Trent, Houghton, Arda Güler, Vinícius in the team who can pass the ball in behind. He's going to be really, really dangerous. So yeah, I think nothing much to really talk about. I think maybe Rodrigo. I'm just gonna wrap it up with Rodrigo here and say I don't know why he came out with the statement of he doesn't want to play right wing anymore. That's the only thing I'm gonna complain about with Rodrigo. I think if Rodrigo had just being silent about playing the right wing, because I do think Rodrigo was a good right winger. I don't think he's a shoot first player. I think he's a pass first player. And when you're playing on the right wing and you're right footed, it helps you out a lot. If you're right footed on the right wing, it makes your passing better because you're not going to be passing with your weak foot. You're going to be passing with your dominant foot. If you're on the left and you're right footed, creating chances is a little bit more difficult because if you're going to pass with your dominant foot, you're going to be using the outside of your foot. So it's going to make things more difficult. And you can see in today's game, he was in a lot of positions to shoot, but he wanted to pass. He wants to pass the ball, and that there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't know what Rodrigo's game is here, but I really like him, and I would really like to see him part of the team. But at the moment, he is a substitute for Vinícius. I don't think Alonso is going to be playing him on the right wing because you wouldn't want to play a player who says they don't want to play in a particular position. Then when they don't play well, they're kind of like, oh, I said I don't want to play in that position. So, it's not my fault that I'm not playing well. So, yeah, I think that's the only problem I'll have. Rodrigo being on the bench, just because he doesn't want to play the right wing. Because if he wanted to play the right wing, I think Rodrigo benches Mastantuono. It's not even a debate. Rodrigo benches Mastantuono until he's ready to bench Rodrigo. So, yeah, I think that's his own doing, unfortunately. And, yeah, hopefully he can be a good player to come off the bench and do some real damage for us going forward in subsequent games. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Good win, and we look forward to the next games. Stay safe out there, and any feedback from you guys would be greatly appreciated. I almost forgot my outro there.